Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Friday, March 30th and we are on our Americas account and we can see we've got a decent amount of stuff to do. Somehow we've ended up with 3 things, which we really shouldn't have 3 things. Let's go ahead and trade one of these. Alright, so I need to play Shaman class cards, Druid class cards, and minions that cost 5 or more. So unless I've not gotten the Tavern Brawl done, I guess I need to go back on the European account and see if I made sure whether I'd done the Tavern Brawl or not. I think I've got them all done. Let's play the Druid 5+ deck. We don't really need to win, but we also don't need to really lose. So we can play wild, ranked. PC Gamer has an article that says where to find the silver bars in Far Cry 5. It seems like silver bars are some kind of limited premium currency that was going to be microtransaction in Far Cry 5, but Ubisoft decided against it, and so they put them in hidden stashes all over the game, and they have a listing of places where you go to find them, and I think you
must protect the wilds.
Use them to purchase something, who knows what. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we come around and find out that they post-release add microtransactions to Fallout, not Fallout 5, what is it, Far Cry 5. We've got a ton of news that I'm still trying to get through. Gamasutra has an article, despite faltering profits, hardware and software sales rise at GameStop. I'm not going to really read this article because we're already under the gun. GameStop, I imagine, is going to succeed a little bit more because of the shutting down of Toys R Us. The good news is a lot of these articles that I have open are duplicates, so I just opened the same thing twice. What is this website? Fingerguns.net has the 10 best games of 2018 so far. Never heard of a website called Fingerguns. Yeah, speaking of websites, I'm starting to wonder, like, I can't afford to really run a website, but I'm starting to wonder if maybe I should just have some cheap, simple GoDaddy website that just links back to my YouTube channel. Integrates like my Twitter posts or something. This top 10 list is eclectic, I suppose. We'll go through it for the fun of it. Why not? The first one is Crossing Souls, which I imagine that's not the best. Second one is Moss. 3 is Celeste. 4 is Shadow of the Colossus. 5 is Batman the Enemy Within. 6 is Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. In the last recording we saw that the developers of The Water Tastes Like Wine came out directly and said that that was a huge colossal failure of a release. 7 is Monster Hunter World. 8 is Life is Strange Before the Storm, and when you hit that point I'm very confused, because I cannot for the life of me believe that somebody thinks Where the Water Tastes Like Wine is better than Monster Hunter World, but I also cannot for the life of me believe that anybody thinks Life is Strange Before the Storm is better than Monster Hunter World. So maybe this is just a random collection of 10 games, but then again a lot of these top 10 lists are just random collections of games and just decidedly made to cause people to argue. Number 9 is Iconoclast. Number 10 is Subnautica, with honorable mentions to Night in the Woods. So yeah, I can't really do anything with that article. That's kind of ridiculous. Ooh, I got a new subscriber. Apparently. Today has not been a great day for me because I accidentally flagged a person that was trying to comment on my video and I didn't understand what they were saying, and so it came off as just kind of gibberish, and I just immediately flagged it as spam and blocked the user. I'm like, oops. Sorry, potential fan I could have had. Need to be more careful about that. And then somebody else asked me on a video, could I just shut up and let them listen to the sound, the game audio? And I'm like, well, first of all, that's pre-recorded footage, so no. And second of all, that's not fair use, and that doesn't add anything of my own creation to the game. I'm not just a Let's Player, or not really a Let's Player at all. I'm a video game critic. So my response was just no, sorry, no, I will not shut up at any point in the game. I'll adjust the audio, maybe a little bit, but I'm gonna adjust the audio so people can hear me. I'm not gonna adjust the audio so people can hear the game. Let's see. Apparently a new game, Gundam Breaker, I think we've already talked about this game quite a few times, is going to launch for the PS4 and PC on June 22nd, so I think this might be the first confirmation of the date. This is, I believe, the game where you are running around with the little toy model kits of Gundams, which actually looks really cool. Although it does now, looking at some of these screenshots, seem like there are some people with some what to do? Like with some storyline in it, some taunt, and that. It looks like it has some visual novel type elements to it. And what's crazy is there's screenshots of no less than 4 or 5 girls in this anime, girls as the heroines, and I'm like, I don't think girls are into model kits that much. I think they're stretching reality. Like, I think it's mostly guys in the Gundam, but I could be wrong. Maybe in Japan it is more popular among the ladies than I think. There's like one male character and then several others, which dangerously puts it into this fantasy harem idea, where the one guy is beloved by all the women who are also into his hobby.
In the grand tournament, you win or you die.
For the wild.
Speaking of Gundam, Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation 2, this Japanese beta playable mobile suits have been revealed, so this is going to be a free-to-play PlayStation 4 game in Japan in 2018, so they're really going on hard on Gundam right now. There's probably a reason for that.
Your magic shall
Although
not
I don't know what it is. So we've hit the point where we're hitting the backlog of games just now, sadly. And so I'm actually seeing a game here that has 100 user reviews and has mixed reviews. It's called TT Isle of Man, ISLE. It's 69% of 104 reviews are positive. It came out March 22nd. It seems to be one of at least 3 games released by this developer, and it seems to be a motorcycle racing game. So let's see, it's $40, which includes the King of the Mountain DLC. That's Isle Man Day 1. Let's come over here and look at the negative reviews. Only. Let's see, 46 negative reviews. Nice track mapping, dreadful physics, as usual, nothing like a real bike. You'll be swerving all over the place because you haven't damped the steering properly. It's a real shame, could have been a much better than it is. Seems like they didn't really bother to trying to get the bike physics right. Full controller support, where? I tried connecting my Steam controller, not working. Xbox controller not working. Looking for controller settings, change to a control setting, non-existent. So no, I'd like to play the game, but not on a keyboard. Here's somebody says, having had multiple families race in the TT, which apparently that's a race, is what I'm learning here. And having been a fan of road racing in general since I was a kid, I've been looking towards this game. Unfortunately, they haven't really delivered. The bike models are really nice and the track is accurate and looks fantastic, but the important part, the physics and animation, are terrible. So, physics and animation. And just waiting the 3 days for this good-looking game, then if I had bought it on day one, I probably would have fallen for that. And personally, as somebody who doesn't ride bikes, I probably wouldn't even know how off the physics are. I could probably tell you that the physics are off, but I more than likely couldn't tell you by how much. Let's see. And so it'll be interesting as we move forward through these older games to see how many of those actually are going to sustain and have ratings. I can't kill it, so I'm just gonna end the turn. We've talked about this game before. Atelier, Liddell, and Sorelli, The Alchemist and the Mysterious Paintings, is rated 93% of 74 reviews, came out March 27th. It's a Koei Tecmo game. They're actually doing a giveaway if you retweet them for Koei Tecmo US. If you want to go try and find that tweet, they're giving away 2 copies of the game. It looks like it's a mostly RPG game, like JRPG with some magic elements and maybe some kind of alchemy element to it, but it's mostly just a JRPG game. It has a third-party URL, end-user license agreement, 10% off for $53.99, which seems really expensive, but there is some free bonus DLC. Let's see how many hours of gameplay. This is the 20th anniversary of the Atelier series, so there might be other games that would justify being such a high price, but let's see, 6 negative reviews. This game requires the same minimum requirements of to run at 60 frames per second. What do I want to do? Yeah. Will I die? Let's do this. And then
Time waits for no one.
let's do this. Actually, that wasn't the right move, was it? So like the one negative review right now is because it doesn't run well in my language, whereas we're getting a lot more positive reviews, and so I'm willing to actually believe them when you have 87 positive reviews and 6 negative reviews. So this is a good JRPG. What can I do with it though? Well, it's on my wish list, and I guess I'll just leave it on my wish list. We're just slowly playing cards. And since we know that there's now a series called the Atelier series, we can, let's see, Atelier Sophie, Atelier Friss, Gust Bundle, which is Atelier Sophie and Knights of Azure. I guess I wouldn't want to play the newest version unless I could know that it's a new entry in the series, and maybe it is. It just looks like a fancy female protagonist tag, cute JRPG tag. Doesn't have anything that makes it seem like there's going to be any lewdness to it. I kind of wonder, like, if you wanted to give if you ever wanted to give a long-running RPG to a kid, if you could find some of these JRPGs and give them to kids, this looks like something you might be able to do. If you were Japanese, you'd probably let your kid play this. Although, you know, Pokemon fills that niche for quite a long time. Like, and Yokai Watch and things like that. If somebody new on the chat says thanks for losing, you're welcome. I'm happy to oblige in that aspect. Certainly there's been a lot more talk about that game than a lot of others. Gamma Sutra has an article that Universal has opened 5 properties for use in game develop contest. In partnership with Universal, Unity Technology announced Phase 1 of the Universal Game Dev Challenge. The contest gives developers the opportunity to pitch a game using one of 5 properties from University, with the grand prize winner will receive 1-year consulting contract with Universal to develop the game. So Universal wanted to do something with some of their properties, like E.T. Yeah, the Terminator, maybe they own that. I'm trying to think of what are some of the rides at Universal Pictures. Phase 1, developers must supply a game design document attached with their submission detailing the basic elements of gameplay design, narrative, and technical goals. And I bet as soon as you give that idea to them, it's the property of Universal and they can do whatever they want with it, even if you don't win the contract. Supplemental content like concept art, 3D models, and story documents can also be included. A video pitch must be included. Developers may only use one of the 5 properties listed in the contest, including Battlestar Galactica, which is a dead concept as a game. Like, I assume that's either the new or old Battlestar Galactica. Both are pretty dead properties because you can't. There's just nothing coming out about them. Voltron, the legendary defender, which I believe Netflix made a recent remake of Voltron. It's not going to really sell that well. The thing about Battlestar Galactica in particular is you're not going to get any of the actors from the old series or the new series in the game. So you have to make a game pitch that is going to be built around some very famous actors that won't appear or be voiced in your game. So anything that would have been appealing is already out. The next one is Back to the Future, which again, you're not going to get any of those actors. And I'm not sure what you do with Back to the Future that would that you could do. Jaws, yeah, you really don't need. There's really no story on Jaws that you can do, or Turok.
What we do.
I like to make speculative game pitches. generally speaking. And I cannot think of anything you would want to do with any of these things. Like, Turok is the most obvious one. Like, you make a new Turok game where you're a person on a planet full of dinosaurs, you're fighting dinosaurs, and that's kind of it. You're this Indian, Native American fighting dinosaurs. That's kind of it. Jaws, you can certainly make a game where you're playing as a shark or fighting against a shark. It's not going to be that interesting because Jaws inherently falls apart because it's going to be all water levels, and water levels always suck in games. Back to the Future, you can't really tell a new story there. Even after the second movie, they couldn't tell a good story there. Voltron's nothing, Battlestar Galactica's nothing.
For the wild. Job done.
Yeah, I cannot pitch any kind of concept of any game. What I'd probably do is I think there's like a card game or a tabletop game for Battlestar Galactica. Try to do something like that. Like, there's already been a Back to the Future Telltale game, and it was alright, but it wasn't amazingly good. Alright, the rest of this article, 6 finalists will be selected by a panel of 4 judges to attend a mentorship summit in South California before moving on to phase 2, but details have not been shared yet. Like, okay. I wouldn't give Universal any pitches to any games for any of their properties, because I have no idea who's developing this game for real. If it's Universal, they don't have the ability to develop a game. If it's a subcontractor, it's probably not going to be super quality development. Let's move on. We've got a lot of things. Gamma Citra has another article. Here's how Nintendo chooses its indie partners with the Switch. My guess is they put everybody's name in a hat and then they just dump out the hat and pick everybody in the listed. Like, see, quality over quantity is getting quantity over quantity was the old way, they're saying. Here's the quote. I think the best way to explain it is, over the last year we've been evolving past what was initially more of a curated content position to now a curated partnership position. Which is to say, if they trust you, they will they will let you publish on their platform. If they don't trust you, then they won't.
We will devour this
Job done.
Let's see. Part of the pitch process for new developers or new publishers who come on board with Switch is to not just pitch us a brand new game or a brand new concept, but to use the opportunity to prove their background. I can tell you that those partners that are able to instill a level of trust and confidence in us, that they're going to be very capable of getting through the development process and are knowledgeable about bringing content out on consoles. Those are the ones that are resonating. Some of the developers do have a negative reaction or are bummed because we haven't opened up the door to hobbyists or students at the time, but one day we may. We may be going towards that direction, but for now, we're staying the course in terms of a closed dev environment for the Switch. Which, honestly, I do not want to see Switch flooded like Steam is flooded. I don't want that for anybody. That's not a good way. Alright. Are we ready?
Perish.
This and this.
For the
Attack
wild.
here. Attack here. Okay. Should play these 2 cards before I die. Yeah, I mostly agree with that. That they should curate good partnerships with good companies and not just flood switch with garbage. And a year ago, you could make the argument that there weren't enough games for Switch. Now you really can't. For as long as it's been out. Like PC Gamer has an article, Blazing Chrome is the perfect successor to Contra and Metal Slug. And it does look like a successor to it. Do they have any information about when it's out? Is it on Steam? Is it coming to PC? Or what consoles? They played Blazing Chrome at GDC, and it's coming out in 2018.
I must have more.
They think. PC Gamer thinks. Although even PC Gamer is not being that confident. So yeah, when we get more information and real information about it, I'll be excited.
The circle of life
for Blazing Chrome. This. And I'm gonna do this. That way
light and
I can do this. Gamma Citra has an article, DDR, Half-Life, and Minecraft are among the 2018 World Video Game Hall of Fame nominees. I'm looking at a picture that has several things listed. Let's see. Apparently, typically a committee of 27 journalists and video game scholars vote on which games will be inducted in the Video Game Hall of Fame. But this time around, Strong Museum of Play is giving the general public a chance to have their voices heard as well. And at this point, I don't know if I trust 27 journalists at random. I don't know if I trust one random video game journalist. Between March 27th and April 4th, interested individuals will be able to vote for their favorite title of the bunch online. Let's see. If you go to the Strong's website, the Strong Museum of Play, you can vote between Asteroids, Call of Duty, DDR, Dance Dance Revolution, Final Fantasy VII, Half-Life 1, just Half-Life, John Madden Football, King's Quest, Metroid, Minecraft, Miss Pac-Man, Space War, and Tomb Raider. And honestly,
I must protect the wild.
there's not a single game on this list that shouldn't be inducted. So why not just do them all? Seems like they're buying time for something here. Like, Asteroids totally should be in the Hall of Fame because Asteroids was one of the first games. It was one of the first voxel-based game, if not the first voxel-based games. It was like one of the first games with sound. It totally belongs there. Call of Duty led to a legacy of the first-person shooters that last today. Dance Dance Revolution was a major fad that brought in a lot of new players and new style of players. Final Fantasy VII is beloved by its fan base and changed JRPGs a lot. Half-Life, beloved by its base and changed first-person shooters and action games a lot. John Madden Football, beloved by its fan base. Like, you can say that for almost all of these. King's Quest, one of the first Sierra point-and-click adventure games. Metroid, one of the first Metroidvania type games. That Minecraft. Now I feel like Minecraft probably will win this, but each of these made major impacts. You're not even asking a legitimate question. The answer is simple. Every single one of these games has history. Space War is the only game I've never even heard of. And that's probably just an oversight on my part, seeing the company that it's in. Tomb Raider is the final choice, and it's like, this is ridiculous. All of these games should be nominated and inducted in the Hall of Fame, and then you'd have a really hard choice, I guess, the next year to find 10 more. Okay, there's a game that came out the 28th on Steam called Of Mice and Sand Revised from Arc System Works, which is not the Arc System Works I was thinking of, because this is the only game that they've developed to put on Steam. It's $9.99. This is claiming that it's been ESRB rated. I think that there's a considerable number of fake websites that pretend like you're getting ESRB rated when you really aren't. This game looks kind of like Fallout Shelter. It's really a lot of stuff on the screen. A lot of buttons, a lot of manipulations. It's tagged as a strategy simulation with pixel graphics, and the pixel graphics look fine, but the pixel graphics are certainly not a selling point at this point. They are a detriment. Let's just keep on playing these kinds of cards, these card cards. Now, if I actually get through the news before I do all of the daily quests, I can cheat any of the other daily quests. How many people have played this game? All-time peak of 130 people at the same time. It says it's E10 plus rated. Do we have any reviews? We have 3 reviews. There's 14 positive and 1 negative. And the negative one is in Japanese. Well, it's rated positive. 90% of the 11 reviews in the last 3 days are positive. I'm not sure I fully trust the low number of reviews, but there doesn't seem like there's anything too wrong with this game. It looks like a real game. It's just back to being way too expensive. $10 I would not spend. We also need to play 5 plus mana cards. The game Ys Origin for Xbox One launches April 11th. It includes an exclusive speedrun mode and blood option, which I'm not sure if I believe that will be exclusive forever. Ys Origin is currently available for PlayStation 4, PS Vita, and PC. And we see a lot of Ys games, but and I know it's a JRPG, but I want to watch this trailer just to see if maybe it'd tell me something a little bit more about it. No, not really. It's your standard fight monsters JRPG game.
Welcome to the Grand Tournament, champion.
Gamasutra has an article, Valve to open source networking tools for devs, Steam not required. Valve has announced plans to open source game networking sockets for development, which is the basic transportation for life. This is notable as Steam is not required in order to help developers with networking. The GitHub pages states the intention is that on PC you can use Steamworks version, and on other platforms you can use this version, which implies that it could help you specifically for Linux developers who need multiplayer functionality outside of Steam.
All realities, all dimensions are opened.
qualified.
Let's go ahead and kill this. Quote, we are still in the process of taking code from the Steam networking sockets library and making it ready to be open sourced, writes Valve. Interested developers can check out the GitHub page. And, you know, Valve is really really going through something, it seems like. It seems like they're gonna take some of the people who have been working on background stuff and stuff that doesn't end up in a game. I think they're gonna take those people and make them actually work on games, and I think they're gonna really make games. But I may just be getting tricked here. I'm fully willing to believe that there's claims that Valve are back to making games, and then we're gonna find out that actually no, that they don't release anything in the next decade. Let's see, we've got Ultra Hunt saying, Ultra Hunt still upset about me yelling at him yesterday. It's all good, Ultra Hunt. It's like, didn't need to bring it up today. Thanks for watching. Okay, for those who didn't catch it, I yelled at Ultra Hunt because for about 3 different streams he had posted what looked like the exact same message, and it made it seem like he was a spammer. And I told him if I see it again, I was gonna have to block him as a spammer. And then he corrected, and then all was forgiven. Yeah. The thing I'd really love to see Valve do, and I don't know if this would really ever happen, or probably never would. I would like to see Valve allow people to integrate their games into the Steam launcher a little bit easier, and like integrate achievements and everything into it without giving that 30% cut to Valve. And then somehow Valve come out and say, well, we'll take our 30% cut, but that's going to be a advertisement fee, or that's to maintain the servers that they're downloading the game from. So if you want to set up your own server where people are downloading games from, that would work. Because I desperately want all my Valve games, all my games on my PC, period, to be integrated into one launcher. I want Hearthstone, I want all the Activision Blizzard games in Valve. I want all the EA Origin games in Valve. I want all the Uplay games in Valve. Otherwise, I'm going to just accidentally buy the game twice and have a copy in Valve and have a copy somewhere else. Or, more often than not, I'm going to just not buy the game because I don't see it. For as much as people are complaining about their games not getting highlighted on Steam, your games are 100% not getting highlighted to at least me if you put it on some other service, such as Uplay or EA Origin. And that includes games I know I want, like the American McGee's Alice game is on EA Origin. It's not on Steam anymore because they didn't want to lose that 30% on sales. Gamer Sutra has an article. Gran Turismo Sport version 1.15 update launches today. This was, let's see, on the 28th. So an update to Gran Turismo for anybody interested in that. Let's keep on playing. Let's see, a game called Regalia Royal Edition launches April 10th for PS4, April 12th for Switch, and April 13th for Xbox One. It's a turn-based battles, both diverse quests and distinctive bosses according to Gematsu. I haven't heard of this game, which is interesting. But then again, I guess it's not for PC, so that might explain why I haven't seen it. Hey, this looks like a Japanese turn-based game, but it's from a company I've never heard of called Pixelated Milk, and it has a console port from a company I've never heard of called Crunching Koalas. And it is a Japanese RPG classic. Well, it draws inspiration from Japanese RPGs. Well, not a PC game, so whatever, I'll move on. Did I talk about the game called Glitch? GL the number 1 TCH? It has one review, came out the 28th. I think I talked about it. No discount for $4.99.
My work is paramount. Leave me alone.
Let's see. No, I don't think I actually have covered this game. It actually looks really nice. It's using what I assume are flipped assets of electronical components, capacitors, circuit paths, resistors, things like that. And it seems like you're probably a bit of electricity going down paths. Let's see. Just keep on smashing. Not that I really need the victories. Let's see. And there's only one positive review and no negative reviews. This is just another one of those games that they've put way too expensive. Like GL1 TCH Glitch looks like something I would play. I have a special level love for electronics. This might be interesting just as an artistic background, even if the actual gameplay has very little to do with that. But as it currently is, it's just too expensive to roll the dice on a game like this.
For the wild. Job's done.
Yeah, you just can't risk it. That's a shame. That's a real shame. Maybe I'll put this one on my follow. We'll keep an eye on it. There's a game called Zombo, Z-O-M-B-O-W, no reviews, came out the 20th. So a lot of these games still have no reviews. Zombo is the second game, it's 40% off for $1.19, second game by this developer. And what is it? It's one of these games that seems like it only has one screen, and seems just like characters wander around this one screen, and maybe they bump into each other, maybe they eat each other. Is it a zombie cow? Isn't that the idea of what this is?
Gonna be rich.
It's a cow being chased by these very round ball-like zombies, and the cow just runs away from him, and that's it. It's just keep away for $1.19. Well, no surprise, nobody bothered to buy this game. One all-time peak player, and I guess that tells you something on the face of it. Like, if there's been one all-time peak player, according to Steam database, that probably implies that they didn't even have anybody else test the game. They just made it and put it out. Didn't even have anybody else own it or play it. Let's see, next game we have is called Space Escape. No reviews, came out the 28th. It's the 4th game by this developer, but all of his games have very ugly thumbnails, I suppose. Which is not doing him any favors, because the actual trailer of his gameplay, which looks like in our virtual reality game, looks a lot better than that thumbnail did. And you're just looking around places, searching for clues, wandering around what I assume is a space station with a lot of repeated tiled assets. Let's see. This VR game is at full price for $7.99. All these VR games. Like, I think the HTC Vive and the Oculus Rift both failed to have any kind of curation on their consoles. If I was going to try and compete, I would definitely make it so that only pre-approved games are allowed to play on our consoles, because it's just way too much garbage. Way too expensive garbage. Let's see. A game called Slime San, SLIME-SAN Super Slime Edition has been announced for the PS4 and Xbox One. The ultimate version of Slime San. I've never heard of Slime San in the first place. It's date to be released very soon. This is a Gamatsu article. This is from Head Up Games. I believe I've heard of them. Let's see. Slime Sand and Slime Sand Blackbeard's Kraken are available for Switch and PC, while Slime Sand Sheeple's sequel is available now for PC. It will not launch for Switch until later. So there's this whole series of games I've never even heard of. Interesting. I want to just keep on playing these Druid cards. Let's see. A website called Nintendo Everything. I keep getting around to all these different websites. Has 10 minutes of away journey to unexpected footage, which looks like a 3D dungeon crawler that was at GDC. Unfortunately, there's no real news here, so I can either look at the 10 minutes of gameplay footage and tell you whether it looks good or not. I'll say it looks alright, but with no real idea of whether this is just coming to a Switch, which it may very well, or if it will come to PC or some other consoles, or when it's coming or anything like that. That's not an informative article. There's a blog on Gamasutra, and remember, Gamasutra lets pretty much anybody put up their own information on these blogs, called Helping the Young Ones Grow, which is, I think, an article around helping new people into the video game industry, which is certainly a nice thing to do. I've heard that getting into the video game industry is very nepotistic, in that you have to know somebody already to get into the industry, and they hire from like internal references. That's certainly not a way to get new fresh blood and differing opinions and perspectives into your company. Not that I'm sure that any or many of the video game companies want new fresh perspectives. The number one here is get to know who you work with, start with small talk and see where it leads. Number two is then it's time to search for the gym or the driver. 3 is plant the seed. 4 is help the shy, and 5 is be real. I also heard that there's a lot of narcissism just in, I guess this is true for all jobs, where where ideas just kind of get stolen by the bosses and the managers, and it's like, that's a good idea. I'm gonna run that up the ladder and take credit for it. Let's see. This is just a Twitter person I was going to mute because I don't need to follow Games TM magazine. I don't believe. Just because I don't think they put out anything other than advertisements for their own magazine. Trying to still clean up my Twitter feed so that there's more room for new games on Steam. Speaking of new games on Steam, there's one called Astro Joust that came out the 28th, no reviews. It's the third game from this developer, 10% off at 89 cents. And it's got 8-bit pixel graphics, which I think really just boils down to it's probably bad or lazy animators. It seems like you're running around the same area playing. Well, they're saying it's directly Joust with jetpacks, which honestly I think that is Joust 2. Was also Joust with pretty much jetpacks. Turn on these spirit cards. Let's see. So they want 89 cents for this game, and it's multiplayer and local multiplayer. So I don't think it has online multiplayer. The way Steam breaks multiplayer. Here's a negative review. This game is blurred out. Does not even have a key to allow the characters to go right, only left. What? That's the only review, and it's a negative review. Although that's funny because at the top it says no user reviews, so the top reviews and the bottom reviews don't even agree half the time. Yeah, I don't see any reason why you'd want to play Joust from a no-name company. I'm sure you could probably play the original version of Joust better and easier. Let's do this. Do this. Do this. And some minions. PC Gamer has an article, how video game composer designed Tangle Deeps, the RPG. I guess I don't really care because it does just look like an RPG Maker game, so I assume that's part of it. The better question certainly is, should a music composer be developing a game? And the answer is no. There's a game called Garrison Archangel that's 90% of the 11 reviews positive. It's the only game from this developer. It has no discount. It's $14.99. This is, I think, just a quick beat 'em to the shelves Gundam ripoff. It has certainly some Gundam mech-like weapons, and it certainly seems like it has customization, and then it seems like there might be barely one platformer which you fight the different characters. Let's see, it's single player and multiplayer, and co-op and shared split screen. Early access game for $15.
Versus Medivh.
Let the games begin. I must protect the wild.
And I really just don't trust these positive reviews right now. This game needs to come out of early access. See, before I trust it. Which inherently I'm having definitely some discomfort because it is giving me this like, I used to specifically say don't look at pre-purchased games, like don't pre-order games, don't look at early access games, and now more and more since I'm looking at all games, there's just this growing element to that where I am looking at early access games that I before was just ignoring. And I guess I'm still mostly ignoring them. I'm just covering them as they realistically came out. Here's an interesting story. Gamma Sutra has an article: the CIA releases rules and materials for its training board games. Last week, the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency released copies of the rules and materials used to play 2 of the tabletop games it devised to train operatives: Collection and Kingpin, The Hunt for El Chapo. So, I guess they open source these games. Like, let's see. In Collection, for example, 3 to 7 players pick characters from a list, weapons, analytic, economic analysts, etc., and gather around a board and try to collaboratively stop crises by generating reports, literally rolling for reporting and using those reports effectively. So it doesn't sound like these board games would actually be too fun to play. But if I was gonna pitch a game, pitch those. Make a digital version of those board games, and you'd have at least a story to tell behind it. Let's see. Next game we have on the Steam has no reviews, came out the 30th. It's called Battle of Cubes. That's generic. It's the only game from this developer. It's 10% off for $4.49. And it's a top-down shooter in which you're just shooting cubes. And this clearly looks like it's all asset flips. All-time peak of 1 person playing the game. If somebody was even going to give a game like this a chance, they would have to be way cheaper than what it is. Like, yeah, I'm going to start boiling down a lot of these game things into just, well, this game might have had a chance if they hadn't charged too much. Let's see. Blizzard kicked off the 2018 Overwatch World Cup 3 days ago. For anyone interested in that, there was a PC Gamer article about that. Let's see. Let's see. There's a game called Wild Truths, learn, parentheses, close parentheses. It's positive with 100% of 13 user reviews. It came out the 28th. It's from the creators of In Mind VR, which is a free-to-play game in my library for some reason, and nothing really else. They made about 5 games. It's a simulator of a machine learning specialist. And it seems to have some kind of programming elements, but it's a VR game where you're programming. This does not make much sense at all.
Happy New Year. Where shall I strike?
Yeah, this is a programming game, and it looks like a really complicated and confusingly animated programming game at that. It's got way too many gameplay elements on top of the programming that would make the programming seem less realistic. It's an early access game for $6.29, 10% off. Has a Discord. Join us on Discord. That's the first time I've seen that. You want to talk about advertising? So I cannot, for a second, believe any of these positive reviews. The game doesn't look that good to deserve 100% positive reviews. So I think they're cheating the system. This is a game that needs to be, where the reviews need to be reviewed. Maybe with more time something like this might catch on, but the animation graphics are not that good either. Let's see if we did this and then did this. There's a game called Harmonium, Harmonium. Came out the 28th. It's the third game from this developer. It's 15% off for $4.24. It has no reviews. What kind of game is this? What kind of game is this? Seriously. Is this a RPG? Is this a paper doll game? Is this some kind of simulator? Let's see. Indie story-rich interactive fiction visual novel. Alright. 4 people played it at its all-time peak. And there are no reviews for it. It's too expensive. Why would anybody give it reviews? It looks like garbage. There's no consistency in the screenshots at all.
Your magic shall not save you. Your magic shall not save you.
Let's see. Alright, there's a game called Skyhawk. We need to burn through these games. Third game from this developer, 51% off at $6.31. That's pretty ambitious. It seems like it's just flying a interestingly designed helicopter, like a fictional hovercraft, I would suppose you would call it, not a helicopter. Only one person at the all-time peak. It's way too expensive, and it has no reviews. Save 40% off Achievement Hunter Dragon, which I imagine is part of a whole Achievement Hunter series, and yes it is. All of which are mixed reviews. 2 reviews for this game. This is just a cheap student project that should not be on sale.
What we do.
Even if it is 40% off for 59 cents. It's part of this buy 147,000 achievements bundle for $17.99. That's all this is about, is selling achievement fake games, because they can't do Steam trading cards anymore. So just buy all these garbage games that you'll... This game features 5,000 achievements. It's at the minimal allowable price. Real weapons, fearless protagonists. Like, the first 2 things are, we're going to give you a bunch of achievements for a really cheap price. Like that really even does anything or helps anybody. Alright, it's just cheating. So, let's go back here and see. We need to play 10 more Druid class cards, so maybe I could play a different deck, since we don't need to play any more characters that are 5+. So I might have a different Druid deck that helps a little bit better. My clicks don't seem like they're moving as fast as they should be. All 5 of those cards were disenchanted. Nothing new. Druid Helper. It's not the biggest Druid collection of cards. Or Custom Druid. Custom Druid is all Druid cards. Alright, good. We know what to play then. Play custom druid. So if it's an obvious fake game, one way I can clearly speed up things is say it's a fake game and just move on and not cover all the things. See, Gamma Sutra has a blog about a game called Turret Quest 2.0, a procedural RPG about turrets and narcolepsy, which are two very dissimilar games.
For Doomhammer.
I just recently learned that, like, the developer of Depression Quest was the lady that kind of caused all the drama that started. She was at least one of the first factors that started Gamergate. So I don't think I'd probably ever play her game, Depression Quest. I don't think I was ever going to get around to playing it anyways. But I should probably double check to just mark it as not interested, just to avoid drama. We've got a game called Panic Pump, Can You Save Them All? And this looks like some effort was put into this to make a something.
Time waits for no one.
It looks kind of like a cell phone game with 3D graphics, but then the real game is not those 3D, not really using the 3D graphics. It seems like the real game is just a marble moving puzzler game that is in the middle of the screen, kind of like Pipe Dream maybe, with 3D graphics around it, which makes me feel like this is asset flips. There's like customization of your character, but that's not what I think this game is. They say it's an action adventure puzzler. See, this developer, this is the only game they've made. It's 40% off for $40.79. I don't think anybody would want to play this, and the all-time peak of 4 players seems to agree with that. Here we go. Let's see. Not recommended after 2.5 hours. Let's see, deal 2 damage to me.
Time waits for no one. For the wild.
Like, warning, this is a timed game, and the time they give you to complete a level is very short, so you don't finish within a time limit, you automatically fail the level. Honestly, I don't like this game. I don't care for the cutesy graphics or the children screaming. Guess this is targeted to younger audience. The difficulty ramps way up after the first few levels. I hope the children this is intended for are very fast. The controls are also very annoying. Try to slide a token out, and you end up rotating the entire cage. And that's the one review. And yeah, this feels like some asset flips and some mixes of some things that should not have been mixed. Let's see, let's go ahead and play this, and do this, do this, do this, and do that. Now, we haven't gotten any major response back to this, but Microsoft has tweaked the code of conduct for Xbox and other platforms, like Skype and Office and everything else. Let's see. Specifically, Microsoft says it's clarified its terms to note that offensive language is prohibited and that publicly displaying or using its services to share inappropriate content and material involving, example, nudity, bestiality, pornography, offensive language, graphic violence, or criminal activity could lead to suspensions or bans on Xbox Live and other platforms. Additionally, one section notes that Microsoft reserves the right to review your content in order to resolve the issue while investigating alleged violations of the term. The language is notably ambiguous, says the Kama Sutra, and doesn't offer specific definitions of what constitute inappropriate content, especially given how this change could relate to things like public chat or communications in Xbox Live games or sharing clips from graphically violent games on the platform. The new agreement goes into effect May 1st. There was a law that was passed that I think affected some of that stuff, and why all it seems like out of the blue people are changing the rules, but also it's just a dance to avoid turning into YouTube and having controversy after controversy after controversy. Here we go. Gematsu has a game called Chrono My Gao, MA:GIA. Game rules video. I think this is a free-to-play digital card game for iOS and Android that's coming out this spring. It's possibly not coming to the West though. So, like, trying to watch a cell phone game with black bars taking up most of the screen on the left and right is almost impossible. This looks like a card-based, kind of like Hearthstone game, except for it's anime girls, so it's not going to have that appeal to the broader audience. It looks very much like it is the standard Hearthstone / Magic the Gathering. I also heard Magic the Gathering, if anybody wants to give me feedback, has gotten really cheap with its card stock and had a bunch of problems, and so people aren't really happy with them and their past few years of actions. Yeah. So I really don't need to talk about cell phone games that probably won't even come out of Asia countries. Battletech has a release date now. What is that release date? When is this release date? Well, take a guess on which person says they have a release date and then don't say the release date in the article and are gonna make me actually watch the video. If you said PC Gamer, you're right. Release date April 24th is the title of the video. Let's just kind of skip through here to see. Yeah, Battletech is more of a Western mech type giant mech robot. Not super giant robots, but giant robots. And Battletech also, I think, is the really complicated one that has tons of controls and inputs. Gotta speed up, gotta speed up. Alright, keep playing those droid cards. We don't need to talk about more characters being added to a game that's not out yet. There's a game called Lost in Space 2 on Steam from the maker of Lost in Space 1 and Home Alone Girlfriend, which is rated negatively, and Food Hunter. Let's see. This is just like a very simplistic flying around asteroids gravity-based game, it looks like. Very simple, very all-time players 6, selling for 99 cents with no discount. Minimalist type game. I could almost see the argument for the minimalism, this being called a minimalist game instead of a just kind of cheaply made game, but I'd say it's a little bit of both. Yeah, I can't recommend it even at a pretty cheap price of $1. It just seems like it's too simplistic, and that some other developer, if they were going to make a minimalist game where you're flying through the just a bluish black background to go through white rings, somebody else could do that better. Moving on. Let's see. Well, this game got taken off. There was a game that was announced called PlayerUnknown's Battle Boxes. It's not on Steam anymore. So they did catch that one, at least after a couple days. But that is the first time we've ever run into a game that was caught within a day or two. And I imagine what killed it was the idea of using PlayerUnknown as the beginning of your title, since that is referencing an actual person. Here we have a game called Gothic Breaker, Gothic Breaker. It looks like it is a very cheap Arkanoid clone. It's 25% off for $1.49, and it has nudity and sexual content, although this time it is pen and paper marker type drawings, really bad quality drawings that you'd expect from like a high school artist of gothic girls, which, to be fair, the anime franchise and the Japanese in general don't have the most grasp or love for gothic girls, but on the rare occasions that they do animate somebody in that style, they do it in a way that's a lot higher quality than this. And I guess just AAA developers certainly, they'll tease towards a gothic girl. They'll have a girl in leather boots, maybe with a leather choker, but they're not going to go full out. Every single bit of clothing is black, except for maybe not full throttle, but that other Double Fine, Broken Age may have had a gothic girl in it. Let's see. When you see, looking down here and seeing what they're recommending, they're recommending like Honey Pop and other games. Let's see. See, the positive recommendation here calls it a fun little adult achievement chaser that you get an hour of entertainment from for $1.50, which is asking a lot.
For the wild.
And they're saying price to content ratio is about right, and I'm like, not really. Like, here's a review that says view discussions, how to get rid of censorship. Positive, but I don't believe these positive reviews. I don't trust them, whether they're real or not. Let's go down to the 1 negative versus the 16 positive. And we have a Chinese-Japanese person giving a negative review. I think that's the new scam, really, is give yourself 14 like fake positive reviews and then 1 negative review in a different language that nobody will ever see. Or at least your target demographic won't see. Next game we have is called Tenkyu, Tenkyu. Let's see, only game by this developer, no discount, $2.99. Roll a ball through a 3D world to reach your goal. This is a sample game demo. If I've ever seen one, it's got no textures. Like, all of the 3D models are just light blue. You could see these ideas implemented better in any number of other games. This is just a they're saying it's early access, but they want $3 for it. Like, no reviews, clearly. Nobody's gonna put any money into this. Don't put your games out as early access unless they are at least in beta. Like, it's just that simple. Like, you need to be feature complete. You need to have some kind of textures. You need to have something that would actually appeal to an average gamer. What is this? Meet Eve's search and rescue task force who will fly to the edge of space to save you. Oh yeah, this is a PC Gamer article about Eve Online. I'm not interested in Eve Online, so I'm going to close that tab. Wipeout Omega Collection VR update available today, so that kind of sucks that Wipeout Omega Collection is only for PS4, though it's not for PC. But I guess if that head-on soccer PlayStation VR game has come to Steam, there's a little bit of hope that everything will. Close that. There's a game called Spadysy, S-P-A-D-Y-S-S-E-Y. Like, let's see. Only game by this developer, no discount at $1.99. And this just looks like a collection of like music visualizations without the music visualizations. It's just some random lines of art. Oh, it's a game where you swipe left and you swipe right to control a character as you're flying through the psychedelic space odyssey type world.
I wonder.
It's just a bunch of potentially seizure-inducing lines and textures. This is a tech demo if ever. It says it's ESRB for everyone. Yeah, yep. Nobody's gonna buy this game. Nobody's gonna review it. Next game we have is Game of Stones. No reviews, came out the 28th. It's one of two games by this developer, and the other game is called Casual Games Bundle 2. There's no Casual Games Bundle 1, and that has mixed reviews in the first place. Game of Stones is 30% off for $6.29, which is way too expensive. There we go. So that's the Druid class. Last thing we need to do is play some Shaman cards. So let's find the Shaman deck and see what we've got. We have... This is a rogue deck, right? Yeah. I need to quit using this character as the rogue character. We have this Overload deck that's all full of Shaman cards, so we can play that. Let's see. And
they'll never see it coming.
We'll come back to this one. And I think we can keep Morgai the Oracle where we are. We can keep Arthas where it is. Going the wrong way, clicking the wrong buttons. Alright, overload, overload, overload. Here we are, and play. See, Game of Stones looks like it might be a evolved version of Klax, or it might just be a spin on Tetris in a different way, or reverse Tetris. Going up the screen. It's just way too expensive a game. That's why it has no reviews, a one-time peak of one player. What do these people think they're doing? Like, I guess they're literally doing no market research at all. That's just what it has to be. They have to really think and be so dumb to not even see that, look, there's other people releasing games and they're not getting any sales, and they've been releasing games on Steam for a long time and they're still not getting sales. So Gundam Breaker is due worldwide for the PS4 and PC June 22nd. I think we already talked about Gundam Breaker. They have a desert stage that they're showing off. Like a lot of articles overlapping because I have so many everything, really, I guess. The Final Fantasy Explorers Force tops 2 million downloads. I believe this is a cell phone game. It did 2 million downloads in 2 weeks. Let's see. Apparently it's at the App Store and Google Play Store. So apparently you can play that worldwide. I mentioned this before, but I want to mention it again. Netflix is developing a live-action Carmen Sandiego movie and an animated Carmen Sandiego movie. So it would be really nice if they came out with a Carmen Sandiego video game. I'm not sure exactly how you'd make a Carmen Sandiego video game these days and how you'd keep it going and make it work. Would you go completely in different directions, or would you still try to make it something that is slightly educational and built around chasing after a criminal or a group of criminals? Or do you just make it a standard action game? Do you make it a point-and-click adventure game, something like Broken Sword? I mean, there's a lot of different things you could probably do. Let's see. Planet Coaster is getting new movie-themed Studios Packs DLC. So yeah, I think I saw those on sale for Planet Coaster. They're quite a lot of them and quite interesting. Maybe pretty expensive too. In the end, Planet Coaster is not a game for me though. Let's see, there's a game on Steam called Goldmine. It has 14 user reviews that are 100% positive. And it's the only game from this developer. It's 99 cents with no discount. What kind of game is this? Looks like it's a clicker game with many different levels that you scroll down to gold. Gold mine. Oh, all-time peak of 35 people playing it. Let's see. Indie casual simulation strategy. Let's see.
Job's done.
Let's see. About this game. This is a game I wrote so I could have a bit of distraction at work. The idea is simple. You click a mine to mine a resource. Hire workers to do the mining for you, upgrade them, unlock new levels and worker types. It's a clicker game. You wrote a clicker game, is what you're saying. Here's one of the recommended reviews. Hashtag delete Facebook and get this game. Yeah, that's a fake review. Good game. Yeah, I don't believe this. I don't believe this for a second. Don't pay 99 cents for a clicker game. Go play time clickers. Go look at how many hours I've had time clickers running on my desktop and realize that that's the place. I'm gonna take this one out for safety. Let's see, there's a game called Billionaire. Let's see, it's 30% off for 69 cents. It doesn't look good. looks like it's not even in English. It has all these language translations. It's a economic strategy game according to the description. Like, the review I'm seeing is not recommended. Game is overall very low quality. Took me only 37 minutes of semi-activity play in order to unlock all achievements, so I wouldn't even say it was worth $1 unless you're an achievement hunter. In theory, this game has a good idea. Rather than just make money and buy upgrades type clicker, you have to sell stock of fish in order to make more lucrative stocks of fish. Just keep on playing. Yeah, I wouldn't pay 70 cents for a bad looking game. I wouldn't pay anything for it. Snake Pass has a latest update to add a new free arcade mode, and it removes the controversial Switch item. What is the arcade mode? No, that's a more interesting thing. I do want to get around to playing Snake Pass. So the arcade mode looks like it might be a score-based mode in which you're trying to collect as many fruits as the snake as possible in a certain amount of time.
I wonder.
Like, that's a game that I certainly wanted to get around to playing. There's a long list of those though, isn't it? Well, the good news is I'm looking at all these games as they come out, and I've only wish listed maybe one in this entire week. Next game we have is called Deadly Blue. It's the only game by this developer. 10% off for $3.59. It's terribly drawn animations for it looks like a platformer puzzler. Like 2 people all-time peak. 10% off, $3.59. 25 levels in 5 different locations according to them, and no reviews. No, not surprisingly. Let's see. Let's see. Sega Gematsu has an article. Sega teases possible new Shining title announcement at Sega Fest 2018. Is Shining Resonance Refrain just a warm-up? What is Shining, though? I guess you have to know what Shining is. I guess that's a RPG, JRPG series, best I can tell. Next game we have on Steam is called Annotation of Love, which is being sold for free with 99-cent bonus content. At least they're getting a price right here. But this is, again, Stickman art. It looks bad. It's got no background. Let's see. What do we want to do? Kill this one. Annotation of Love is a set of 3 mini-games and 3 original Czech songs. While listening to the songs, you experience particular stages of love and critical points of revelation. So this whole game is just selling Czech music. Alright, well it's free. They're not recommended. If you can look into this because you're an achievement hunter, stay away from this. One of the achievements requires you to support the dev and donate and buy some bogus DLC from the game. Achievements are not made to be paid for. They're made to be unlocked by quote-unquote gaming. If I could leave a 0 star, I would. This is barely a game. This game stinks. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like garbage. And if you want to put out your Czech music, why don't you just put it out on Spotify or something? And, you know, probably get more money putting music on a streaming service like Spotify than you would putting a bad game on Steam. Speaking of bad games on Steam, next game we have is called Bubble Strike. The animation just looks horrible. It's 40% off for $1.19. Every single image looks like it's directly taken from a cell phone port. The game looks like Bubble Bobble if Bubble Bobble was drawn by a 2-year-old. I wasn't really trying to win there, but okay. Let's see. Yeah, no reviews. Also gonna, while I'm here, we'll just follow PC Building Simulator because oh, Depression Quest is actually already in my inventory because it was a free game. Okay, well, I'm gonna mark that not interested so I don't ever play that game on accident. Back to Hearthstone playing. MAME is continuing to update itself to support more handheld LCD games. Let's see. Fire Emblem Heroes adds legendary hero Robin, which it'll be available. Fire Emblem Heroes is the iOS Android game.
Let the hunt begin for Doomhammer.
We already talked about this game. Don't need to talk about it again. PC Gamer has an article saying that KFC bucket emote on Twitch leads to more racist abuse. The emote was temporarily added as a chicken dinner tie-in promotion with PUBG. We reported last week about a weird but amusing partnership between Twitch, KFC, and various streamers that offered viewers a chance to win a free chicken dinners, real wood food, not the winner kind, simply by using the KFC bucket emote in Twitch chat. Basically, when a participating influencer wins a match, everyone who spams the bucket emote will be entered to draw a $20 gift card. Sounds good so far, except for the fact that I think they're about to talk about. Other prizes may be won, including a Colonel Sanders ghillie suit, which I don't know what that really even means. A survival spork, a med kit, which is basically a KFC bucket filled with gift cards. The Soul is reasonably clever, slightly silly, and perfectly innocuous, and of course the whole thing went sideways very quickly. The problem is, as streamer Mythical Trihex Jefferson explained on Twitter, it's a racist connotation of fried chicken, and the fact that its potential for abuse never occurred to anyone before the emote was rolled out. I feel bad for people of colors right now on Twitch who can't look past that, he said during the stream. Come on, between Snickers and that one, someone's gotta get it together. I'm laughing because I'm dying inside. Do no black people work at Twitch? So yeah, there certainly are a group of people who don't like the generalization that black people love fried chicken, much like the same connotation that black people love watermelon. However, to be fair, a lot of people of all colors love fried chicken and watermelon. But it has some history in racism, I guess a little bit. But I mean, KFC is going to run into that problem wherever they try to advertise anywhere. The only difference here is that this allowed people to spam, I suppose, that emote in people's chat. But even if you can spam that emote in people's chat, I mean, that's exactly the same issue we had before, where there was an esports person who spammed something that somebody else took as racist, where other people could take it as not racist, and it's just like, if you're gonna allow the most easily offended person ever to dictate what is offensive and what isn't, they're going to dictate that everything is offensive, and this is kind of innocuous. And to use that phrase again, it's like, no duh. Like, it's an innocuous thing that people can use to do bad things, in the same way that a pin is an innocuous thing that you could either do really great things with a pin, or you can stab somebody with a pin. It's really a tool. It's the people. Let's see. I don't want to go too much into that. So we already talked about that. Killing Floor 2 has an Infinite Onslaught update now. Ushers in new endless modes. Can't believe people are still playing Killing Floor 2. I can't believe people are still advertising Killing Floor 2. Outlast 2 is getting a more laid-back story mode, which, but don't worry, you can still die. Story modes, easier ways to play games like Outlast 1 and 2 would be appreciated for me, certainly, as somebody who hasn't gotten around to playing those games and would want a quicker experience if they were going to play those games. Let's see, there's a game called Gamble, G-A-M-B-O-L, on Steam. Came out the 27th. It's $9.99, way too expensive. I can tell you already. You can't sell your game for $10 unless you're a AAA publisher and you've done some advertising. This looks like a Super Meat Boy type clone, and it actually looks pretty good. It looks fast-paced. All-time peak of 2 people, however, and 2 recommended reviews. So I guess the all-time peak is a little not as descriptive as it should be. That's to say, at one point 2 people were playing, not only 2 people have ever played this game. There we go.
I told ya so.
Yeah, this game, Gamble, in particular, is suffering for its own greed. If this was a 69-cent game, I would give it maybe a shot. But since it's a $10 game, everybody's got their mind in the sky. Next game I have on Steam is called Barrow, B-A-R-R-O. Seems like this developer has put a lot of ugly looking games on Steam. It's 40% off for $1.19.
I told ya so.
Let's just keep playing. Barrow looks like it's an asset flip of a racing game. Maybe it isn't. Maybe this is all new art. Let's see. All-time peak of 6 players. 40% off for $1.20. Doesn't have any reviews for these 10 challenging tracks that all look exactly the same. 4 different cars, which is far too few. Let's see. Negative review here. Worst effing game ever I've ever played. The game catfished me and my mate. It says it's a multiplayer online, however, the only split screen is available. The worst soundtrack available, worst $1.20 you could possibly spend. Do not listen to the other review. Do not buy. Let's see, that's 1 negative review versus 3 positive reviews, and I believe the negative review. There's also like some DLC here trying to double the price on you. Sneaky. Barrow as a game, it's the beginning of something, but it needs more tracks, it needs more variety in the tracks, and it needs more cars by far. Let's see. There's a not so much game, even though it's being sold under games, called Intro Maker. A very easy customizer intro maker for your upcoming streams. Many customizations and maps will engage and allow people to know your stream will be starting. So, like, it's for YouTube streamers. It's the only software released by this person on Steam. It's 15% off for $4.24. I imagine these are all asset flips. And really it's just, can you... it has like Twitch settings and other options and music and sound, and you can change the graphics. Let's see.
There is little time.
It's early access. Let's see. Says I've released this game to get some testing and feedback. Most of the maps will be a moving or static 3D environment and will have customization for every level. The list of commands are lighting, After Effects. After Effects, I don't know what that means in this instance. User interface, music and sound, other options, Twitch chat settings, chat and poll. Some of the upcoming features will be voted on in game. Custom user levels, more options, more maps, movable user interface, more UI fonts. There's no way in the world I would use this. Here's the reason above anything else. Last thing you want is your recording software to have to deal with a different program to record and switch scenes. Like, I just don't want to have to switch scenes and accidentally have it on Intro Maker when it should be on Hearthstone. And I don't want another program running up my CPU and GPU. So it's a bad idea, it's an expensive idea, and it's listed as a game when it should be listed as software. Let's see. No English support for this game, so, and it's a free-to-play game anyway, so I'm just going to close that. I think we have to draw a line at free-to-play games. We're almost to the end. There's a game called Quirky Crook. It looks very simple, like tiny little red and blue dots. Very sharp animation. It looks like if you were trying to do something like Snake. Yes, it is exactly Snake. It's Snake with a little bit of Tron in it. It's the third game by this developer. It's 15% off for 84%. Yeah. No, I don't think I'd recommend a game that's just a Snake clone. Even though this looks like this might be. At least somebody was trying to do something here and working within their own limitations. This isn't just they flipped some assets to make their game look a lot better than they could actually do. Let's see, just need a couple more Shaman cards and we'll be done for the day, I believe. See, Drift Tuner came out February 1st, 2018. It has mixed reviews. 66% of 18 user reviews in the last 30 days are positive.
Versus Malfurion.
It's $10. What got me towards this website? Like, this game. Let's see. Let's see, the negative review. While there's actually a good game here, it's very unfinished, and from what I can figure out, you're just supposed to free roam drift. That's it. No races, no events, just random room that you and some other guys host. Okay, well, even with fancy looking cars, I can see why I wouldn't want to play a game where you're just free roam drifting. You could certainly get like one of the dart games to do that instead.
Happy New Year!
There was a report on the 26th that the Worms creator Team 17 could go public for a $280 million deal. There's been no new news on that, so that's still a report.
There is little time.
There's a game on Steam called Boy in Labyrinth by WBT Games for $4.99. Looks like an RPG maker type game, although it may just be a labyrinth type game and nothing else. What is this labeled as? A indie and pixel graphics is all it's tagged as. Too expensive, and for that reason, even though this has been out since March 26th, it has no reviews, all-time high of 2 people playing it. I just got my icons back. I have not had my icons on my Chrome browser for almost a week now, because I've had so many pages open. Next game on Steam is Tower Defense Sudan Attack. Who wants to guess that this is a piece of garbage? It's released by somebody who's released a lot of games, none of which look strikingly great. All-time peak of 2, 30% off for 69 cents. Let's see. Negative review is, I've seen worse but 3 short levels. Refunded out of principle. Yep. And see, that's the thought, is like, for these short games, maybe just out of principle you need to refund. Finish the whole game within 15 minutes is the next review. There are only a few episodes and so few weapon options. Waste of $1 but nothing else. I think that's kind of what Valve wants. Like, that people refund things. And if you think about how like Barnes & Noble runs their whole company, from what I hear, they're totally built around the idea of getting credits and refunds because they buy too many books and then they don't sell on shelves. Maybe there's a similar system that will feel a little creepy and wrong to an end consumer, but maybe there is a system we should embrace here on Valve where you just feel okay to refund the game, even if you played it all the way through, even if you kind of enjoyed it. If it doesn't give you 2 hours of entertainment, then you still should get it for free. Particularly if you know you're never gonna play that game again. Like, I'm looking at this game, Old Factory. It's an asset flip, first-person shooter, zombie garbage. This is not that many of games like this actually come out. 30% off at 69 cents. Negative reviews, very boring, cheap indie FPS. The main problem with the game is there's no goal, it's just one map slowly respawning enemies. Just an asset flip. Next game is Space Escape from Cow Corp. It's 20% off for 79 cents. All-time peak of 3 people playing it. Graphics a little bad, but not terrible. You're going down a tube in a vehicle. I think I've seen some arcade game that's very similar to this. I don't remember the name of it. Is it Polybus? No, I don't know. Let's see. No reviews. Nobody willing to spend 79 cents to play this game and review it. And it's a little weird, the ones that do get reviews, because it's often very random. Like, I've seen a lot worse games get reviews than some of the sort of good games that might sell for 69 cents. And they just don't get any coverage. Next game we have a Survival Planet from Nexus Lab, the only game they have released on Steam. It's $11.19 with 30% off. Early access. Let's see what the all-time peak is. I've been talking one person. I'm gonna drink some water here.
Job done.
Yeah, no reviews. Survival Planet, not worth playing. That's in turn. I already talked about that. And I'm at the Humble Bundle, Jumbo Bundle 11 sale. And let's see. They've put out some more games for the pay more than the average of $5.15 now. You can get Kathy Rain and Flat Kingdom Papers Cut Edition or Papers Cut Edition. Doesn't seem like there's gonna be any more games, but I could pay the $5.15 and get that. I also need to use the key for Spectre Optics Line that I got the other day. Haven't been able to get to the Humble Bundle stores to use the key. Hearthstone's slowly trickling out cards. I can look at all of them right now, but I don't think we really have time for that. We will look at all the cards, and it seems like they are kind of gonna show almost every card. They've been trying different ways to do this, certainly since it became a big deal. Where they were giving it to streamers, I think, before, and websites to display certain cards. But I'm gonna leave that page where it is, and I'm gonna see if I can do that. See if we can go down the Twitter feed and see anything else. We've been going almost 2 hours in this recording. Still a lot of randomness in the duration of my streams. Let's see. Hearthstone said on Twitter, "We'd like to take a moment to apologize for lack of communication and to shed some light on the recent changes to ranking experiences in Legend on March rank system. Play season, full statement here." Let's see. They're probably apologizing at the end of this month for the fact that it feels like nobody is ending where they should be. At least that's my experience. I'm struggled this month to get up to rank 20. Really had to struggle to get to rank 20.
Time waits for no one.
They found a Prey 2 canceled project video. So if you go to PC Gamer, you could see the gameplay video showcasing Human Head's canceled Prey 2 project. You probably could just search Human Head's canceled Prey 2 project. Scrolling down my Twitter. Interesting, we've got another glitch. This game is glitchy. It's gotten worse. It's gotten worse about being glitchy too. Some weird game there. weird old games. Let's open this pack. Ooh, an epic. And a legendary. And what kind of cards were these? Are these classic cards? Did I just get an epic and a legendary from a classic?
Legendary.
I think I might have. That's on my American account. That is perfect. What do we get? We're getting rid of the 3 regular ones. And then we'll just type in new. This is a Kobolds and Catacombs. Alright, so these were Kobolds and Catacombs cards. Let's see, all cards. No new cards. So if we just go to Kobolds and we type in missing this time. Be interesting to see how many cards are missing. There's a decent number of them. Legendary ones and epics and even some rares. That over the course of Year of the Raven, we'll get more of these packs and fill in these things, and we'll have almost a complete collection, I suspect, right as it goes into Wild. Let's see, do we have somebody playing? Let's just pick this random. No, let's pick this person because they're at rank 8. Let's spectate here as I'm still scrolling through my Twitter.
Back to work.
Apparently Fortnite and Call of Duty World War II drove digital game spending in February. I'm not even gonna go any further with that. That's just going to be a bit of news. Let's see. New game on Steam. A new sex game called Maidens of a Hollow Dream. You can tell from the screenshots in the first place. See, Mafia 2 and Mafia 3 are available on GOG with limited time 50% discounts. If you're a GOG person. Dying Light's latest content drop includes a new Against the Clock Prison Heights mode.
The menagerie is for guests only.
In the light's name.
Scrolling down. Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, says she's excited about the new YouTube Red original BTS Burn the Stage. Which, who knows what that's about. I don't have YouTube Red, don't care to give more money to YouTube than when they're not giving me money in the first place. Oh, I suppose I should mention, they never cut me a check for the money they owed me. I think they said they were going to pay out to everybody, but I think they're going to sit for at least a year or not give it to anybody until they shut down their AdSense account. Which means if you ever have any hope of getting ads back on your channel, you have to let that money sit forever. Now, over the weekend, I'm going to try to curate some of these games and get rid of us. Try and have a not as long of a list of garbage games, because this entire stream has been a lot of garbage games. Susan Wojcicki has another one called Lauren Yoga with the Indian Prime Minister on his YouTube channel. Why does the Indian Prime Minister have a YouTube channel? 3 hours ago, Hearthstone number 867 aired on my channel. PUBG 4x4 kilometer map test begins Monday, and we'll have early access keys to give away, says PC Gamer. Apparently Booze makes you a better wizard in the Bard's Tale 4, great RPG combat. PUBG has kicked off its latest limited time event mode. The team at Gearbox Publishing talks GDC, social holidays, and more in this month's blogs. I'm not going to read the blogs from Gearbox. That first one was not worth people's time. Let's see, Compulsion Games has an article about their development on We Happy Few. Couldn't really care about We Happy Few now. They blew it. They blew any interest in that game a year ago. Really?
Hey, goons! Over here!
Another game came out on Steam. We don't need to cover those. Just trying to see if any major event has happened. The world hasn't ended. We're not in World War III. Things like that. 4 hours ago, Rise of the Tomb Raider 20th year celebration number 53 aired on my channel. Gotta be getting pretty close to being done with that series.
The blade be thirsty.
Apparently somebody is using automotive liquid to cool their CPU. I'm not sure. That's a smart move.
For the war chief.
Scrolling down Twitter, scrolling down Twitter.
Back to your homes.
You know, spectating somebody else is a great way to keep things good. And see, 4 hours ago we started the stream, which tells me, yes, nothing I see below this point will be new. Well, I finally got my icons back. I've finally gone through all of the list. Monday will be a more curated experience. E3 is coming eventually, certainly. And now we're in a weird position because, like, this guy is either rank number 5 legendary or he is in rank 5. I think he might be or he might be doing an arena run. No, he's rank 8. So yeah, he's not rank 5 legendary, so he must be 2 victories into an arena run. So I don't want to both sit here and do nothing and watch this person, but I also don't want to break this. So let's look at this Mark Range update while he's still playing. Okay. We implemented the 30 game requirement to earn competitive points for March 2018. We also increased how much your rank shifted after each match in order to make matches played feel more meaningful. Together, these changes accomplished what they set out to do. Legend players who were previously being completely inactive to preserve their rank were actively competing on the ladder again, and their ranks were adjusted accordingly. We reverted the increase to how much your rank rating shifted back to the normal rate a few days ago to ensure that competition for end of season rankings wasn't as volatile. So they pulled the rug out from whatever they were doing which would have created a frustrating experience for players who are aiming for certain ranks. Please accept our sincerest apologies for not telling you about these changes as we're making them. We're committed to doing a better job. Like, what? Topic is locked, so you can't comment even if you wanted to. Like, this is ridiculous. You made a change and you didn't even stick with it for a month. Like, stick with it for a month, have a disastrous month, and then say, well, that didn't work, oops, we'll change it for next month. The thing now, are they going to revert it back as soon as the month's over? And what do you take from that? It's like, are they just going to constantly change how much a game is worth based on random factors? Like, that's not fair. Don't change the rules. This isn't wrestling. This isn't WWE. You don't change the rules just so to make it more exciting. I'm looking at this Human Head's canceled Prey 2 demo. It looks fine. It looks like a nice first-person shooter. Which, okay, it's kind of a shame. I'm surprised they didn't bother to do, like, by renaming your new game Prey, you really killed the chance of there ever being another game called Prey in this series. You've ruined your intellectual property, your IP, by using the name for something else just to save yourself a little bit of lawyer fees and copyright claims. Alright, let's see. We've done everything, and we've done the Tavern Brawl. Let's prepare ourselves for disappointment here. 6,400 at least packs, 64 packs at least are going to be purchased at the next, when the expansion comes out. Let's go back to our European account and just see if we've done the Tavern Brawl, because that's the only thing that could really have been something why I've got confused on, is if I didn't actually ever succeed. Nope, we did the Tavern Brawl, and we did this. This leaves me the weekend. 60 packs for the European account gonna be open. For this weekend, I can get into Darksiders 2, which the audio for the first 2 episodes are gonna be too loud because of my Yeti setup. It's driving me crazy. I have no idea why it feeds back that way. Let's see, I'm looking at this game, Maidens of a Hollow Dream, on Steam, that just came out. And let's see, tags, indie, casual, sexual content. Looks like it's a very cheaply animated bullet hell shooter that's gonna just have a few scenes in there trying to... They're like background images or bosses or something, where you're fighting giant monster bosses. Yeah, it's certainly not a game worth actually playing around me. Like, don't get tricked. Don't get honeypotted. And we've done this Tavern Brawl too. Let's see. And they want a massive $8.99 for this game too. Close that. Well, that's it for this stream. No need for a post show. I'm always glad when we don't have to do post shows. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me, gift me a game or gift me a Steam gift card. Gift me a game on Steam or a gift card. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.